I actually made part 2 before I made part 1. I feel like I got to back it up with some evidence. You have a lot of people say, well, if you think this is happening, where's your proof? Where's your paperwork? Well, Big Payback was killed for airing out a bunch of snitches, which I pretty much consider being killed for exposing the New World Order system of snitching, except for he made it personal with some of the people who are enforcing it. So, I've used these before, I believe on my Facebook video, these clips, these same exact clips I'm going to play. The first one is from Big Payback talks on the snitching epidemic that has hit every gang in Los Angeles, and the gang researcher, Alex Alonso, agrees on it. And you'll see, I'll let them say it, let you hear their words.
It seems like every set from Sacramento to San Diego, from the West Coast to the East Coast, probably worldwide, that there's just this big snitching epidemic going on. It's like not too many people are talking about it. Like different sets of hoods got snitches in their hoods, and like nobody's doing nothing to these niggas no more. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you know what I'm saying?
Most of the general public understands this whole idea of snitching because we all seen the shirt, snitches get stitches.
Right.
But that's not really the case.
Nah, stitches getting bitches and riches. That's what it seemed like. That shit is in reverse. Like, they getting that, like, and then a lot of niggas be scared of these niggas too. If you got a snitch nigga that's quick on the trigger, a lot of niggas gonna be like, oh, he ain't tell on me.
All right, so in part 2, I talk about how these people, they're getting money. You sell out the Babylon system, they reward you. If you don't, they crack down on you. And it used to be, it's always been like that, but now it is intensified. And, real gangsters shouldn't roll with it. Of course, there's pretty much 2 general attitudes in the gang community about this. I know because I've talked to these people, I've had these people, some of these people don't like what I'm doing, and they've been very vocal about it. And some of these people say, you're the type of guy that doesn't like something, and then we all got to suffer. The main group that's rolling with them, their main argument, which probably they don't even believe themselves, they just like being a snitch, is that, you're just going to cause, all of us to get cracked down on it, and they're going to smash on us, and so on and so forth. And the other group are the people who believe in sort of holding the line. They're not going to roll with the New World Order. Some of these guys are old school gangsters. Some of these old school guys are snitches too, but some of these guys, they believe in the code of the streets. And there is no, breaking the code to them. There's if fucking, I hate to use this example, but if God came down and said break the code, they wouldn't break the code. They're that convicted. If they were offered $100 million and supermodels as far as the eye could see, they wouldn't break the fucking code. Because they're a man of principle. I might not agree with all their principles, but let's face it, a man with principle is more respectable than one who isn't. Let me go on to the next.
You got certain niggas.
Well, of course I agree with their principle about snitching, but they might have some other criminal type of principles that I don't agree with. That's what I meant. Anyway.
Just not gonna stand for it, period. No matter if you tell on me or tell on the nigga next to me, you out of here. You got some niggas is still getting dealt with, but it ain't how it used to be. Most of the time, nigga not finna do nothing, man. This nigga gonna be like, oh, only tell on me. Like my last prison stint, I was in 2006. I was in Salinas Valley, and I was on a level 2 in the E yard, and I was in the yard in the day room, and niggas was telling me when we went out for yard, niggas was like, man, dude over there is a snitch, dude over there is a snitch, and I'm like, what the fuck they doing on the yard? Like, how you able to point the niggas out to me? Shit, and the niggas like, man, nigga ain't finna do nothing to me. Nah, that's when I knew it was over. All you tell the police is, I have a right to remain silent, I'm gonna use that. Like, show me to my bed or my bunk. Nah.
So that's when I knew it was over. Big Payback, Habib Amir Zikaj was shot and killed on November 6, 2014 in a McDonald's in Palmdale. I believe it was in Palmdale. I believe it was in broad daylight. The guy goes inside the McDonald's and kills him. And, from my understanding, they haven't caught the suspect still. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But they didn't catch him for a long time last time I checked. Broad fucking daylight. Why? Because the message from the system is we protect those who bootlick to us. And we punish those who tell the truth. Those people who are real revolutionaries, you get punished. You're a real gangster, you get punished. So at the end of the day, you have people like me saying, hey, if you're, gang members have completely sold out. If you belong to a revolutionary group or some militant group, partisan group, civilian fighters, for those of you who don't know, and they change sides, well, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to fucking stop being part of that group. Gang members have changed sides. If they were ever on the people's side, that's up for the debate. The general consensus is that gang members used to protect their neighborhoods, and at some point they became drug dealers and so on and so forth. Then at another point, they became complete fucking snitches and collaborators and, informants and so on and so forth. Affidavits.
Yeah, but to alleviate all that bullshit, you shouldn't have never said nothing from the jump. I can't fuck with you, period, if you gave a statement. If you would accept a snitch into your circle, that you cut from that same cloth too. Like, I feel like you've done some telling.
Exactly. And since, all these gangs are full of snitches, they're cut from that same cloth too. They're a bunch of snitching queers. Remember Mac Dre in the song, I could tell you the story about how I went from rags and riches, and I did time with fags and snitches.
When you thought about doing some telling, or you can't wait to do some telling.
You think people really feel like
Hell
that?
Yeah.
The police code against snitching is stronger than the street code against snitching.
Yeah, let the police.
The police code against snitching is stronger than the street code against snitching. Why? Because the police are doing New World Order activities, black ops, drug dealing for the government, for the prison gangs and the drug cartels that are aligned to the government, and so on. So their code of silence is stronger than the streets, because in the streets they want you to tell to the government and to the New World Order. They want the New World Order to know everything. The secret societies that run the whole system. But if you're a fucking pig, they don't want you to expose how the people with legitimate power operate.
He snitch on another police.
How rare is it when a cop snitches on another cop?
Right. Let him, and he gonna get that call where he gotta pull up, and he gonna be at the scene by himself. Backup gonna take an extra 5-10 minutes to get there, in hopes that nigga gets smoked or something. So yeah, the police ain't even with that. But these niggas in the streets, man, like this telling is crazy.
Now, I think one indication that snitching has reached epidemic proportions is that every California prison now has at least one SNY yard.
Man, they got them. Yeah, they do.
See, what makes me mad is that, about this, is I actually, communicated with Big Payback on Facebook. I hollered at him. I told him about psychiatry. He didn't get back to me, but I hollered at him. I said, you one of the real niggas, one of the best rappers. And he was like, I appreciate that, and so on and so forth. And so we exchanged a little something. I had to, just same with Flipside from the Bounty Hunters. I talked to him about how black people need to unite. He agreed. We had a little correspondence. And then they killed this nigga. And then with Payback, we had a little correspondence. And then this nigga's dead. And I know that it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with me, but it does really pissed me off, the thought that it possibly could. But no, I don't believe that, but it goes back to the fact that the people who think like me are fucking targeted for elimination.
Every prison now has at least one, some have two.
Yeah, they got more than that. When you go, man, they got it where the SNY niggas is rushing the niggas.
Part's important.
That's on there.
SNY yard.
Man, they got them. It's crazy.
Now, I think one indication that snitching has reached epidemic proportions is that every California prison now has at least one SNY yard.
Man, they got them. Yeah, they do.
Every prison now has at least one, some have two.
Yeah, they got more than that. When you go, man, they got it where the SNY niggas is rushing the niggas that ain't in the SNY. Like, you ain't a snitch. they doing to niggas, man. That's crazy. And that's what's happening in the streets right now. Niggas hoods and in the streets, niggas that ain't telling or becoming the minority, man. Endangered species, real niggas is on the demise. Like, they dying off, man. Honestly, man, I feel like it's not gonna get any better. You know, I feel like it's not gonna get any better because there's so much shit not happening to snitches that people niggas think it's cool to tell.
All right.
You know, he made a couple.
So let's hear from a brother who's in jail back when he wrote this. I think it was like, I don't know, I think it was early 2000s. I forgot when this album came out. It might have been in the late 90s or so. Let's hear what he got to say about it.
Telling cops everything they know. It ain't the way it used to be, homie, that's for sure. My nigga Ernest Brown told me how it used to be. Nowadays, snitches run a penitentiary.
Nowadays, snitches run the penitentiary. So who runs the... Oh, yeah, prison gangs run the penitentiary. Well, doesn't that mean prison gangs are a bunch of fucking snitches and homos? That's what it means. Yes, that is exactly what it fucking means. Period. You know? A bunch of snitches are going to run up on me and say, you know, how dare you expose the fact that we're snitches, and they're going to fucking try to kill me. You know? When it gets back to them. On top of everybody, you know, what I say to them is get in fucking line. You know, you want to kill me? Get in fucking line. All the spiritual bottom feeders want to kill me. You know, there's a long list of cocksucking scum who want me fucking silenced and fucking dead. And they want to try to, you know, cover up, you know, want to keep me from getting views. And they want to do something that makes it seem like, oh, you know, it's a bad idea to do what he's doing, or something that makes me seem like I'm wrong. You know, just complete fucking rats. You know, I'm gonna end this by saying, I forgot if I said this in the last video or not. In school and college, we were taught there's 5 types of power. Now, coercive power is the power that secret societies have, and I'm about to really quickly explain in less than a minute, you know, 4 of the types and why coercive power reigns supreme. Legitimate power, knowledge power, expert power, reverend power, you know, being respected, revered. So, legitimate power is what, you know, police officers have a certain amount of it, judges, you know, congressmen, presidents, you know. Knowledge power is, you know, intelligence agencies have a certain amount of it, you know, scholars have a certain amount of it, people who know how to build bombs and so on and so forth, and they can leverage it. You know, you can blackmail people with knowledge power, and knowledge power, you know, in some cases, in the cases of intelligence agencies, translates to a certain amount of coercive power, but not as much as the secret societies. We get that, which they pretty much started intelligence agencies to increase their coercive power. Expert power is because your label's an expert. Not only are you knowledgeable about that, but you're labeled the expert. Oh, you're a shrink. Or you wrote this book. You received the Nobel Prize. You know, you're the expert in the field. You know, people come to you. They prefer you. You know, to having a job position. And reverend power is like the Pope or something, where people respect you and they look up to you. And, you know, you have a certain power to influence people based on that. Well, once you have coercive power and you know, you can manipulate, the people with legitimate power are your puppets. The people with knowledge and expert power, they work for you. They're your puppets. The reverend power, they're your puppets. So this coercive power, the power to blackmail, the power to manipulate, the power to coerce people into doing things, reigns supreme, and history shows it. What doesn't? For all you people who talk, all you pacifists who say I'm wrong about violence, what doesn't have any effect and is not even included when the behavioral economics people, you know, and the sociologists and the psychologists and evolutionary and behavioral psychologists and so on came together, you know, the political scientists, they all came together and they said, these are the types of power that we see affecting society the most. This is where it's at. What didn't they include? They didn't include the power of reason, because people aren't reasonable. You're not going to reason with a bunch of control freak, psychopath, fucking narcissistic, neurotic trash. You have to kill them. Thank you.